Welcome back, you guys. This is Andrea with From Mrs. to Ms. I have my special friend here again today with us. This is Michelle. Everybody say my special friend.
Special friend, not a sex friend. A special
Not a
friend.
sex friend. She's very special.
Oh, great.
No, she's not my sex friend. She's my friend. I don't have a sex friend. I mean,
Good.
is that normal?
I'm happy that you don't have one for the first time in a long time. And that's why you have this new relationship budding so beautifully.
So beautifully. I was talking about a girl sex friend. I wasn't even talking about a guy. I mean, I've never had a girl sex friend. I'm just like, I wonder if that's a normal thing that people just have. Boy, I'm just jumping right into it.
Come over and we'll do some crafts and maybe get each other off.
Is that the variation of Netflix and chill? We're gonna Hulu and holla. I don't know.
With our hoochies.
Hulu and hoochies. I like it. That's very funny. I made a joke this morning to someone saying, I was trying to say that a fever gets you dehydrated, and Siri corrected it to a beaver gets very dehydrated. I know. And the person on the other end is that why we shave it?
My beaver hasn't had anything moist in a long time.
Oh.
So it's probably very thirsty.
Oh my God, that's the title of this one, Thirsty Beaver.
Thirsty Beaver.
And we're Canadian, so this can totally, I mean, we're going with the beaver. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, well, we are off on a good start.
Start.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I'm taking a sip of my drink because we decided to go with drinks today. And I'll just put it out there. She's on the tequila train. I'm on the vodka train. We needed a little. Yes. That could be why we're talking about beavers and Hulus in the first 30
I've
seconds.
had 2 sips. It's barely touched my tongue. Hasn't made it to my beaver yet. So.
Oh my God. So stay tuned, folks, because there's more coming apparently. Oh my gosh. So I love having you here, Michelle, because you just make me laugh and you bring out the best in me and you just make me want to talk about everything. So that's so fun. I don't have to adhere to any rules or guidelines. And
no, let her rip. But hey, listen, I think this is the perfect lead into what we were going to talk about.
Go for it. You start. What are we doing? We're talking about
let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that make me. Let's talk about sex. And I can't sing. So there you go.
You can. Wow, that was
no, I can't. Maybe that's the 2 sips of tequila.
Wow. This is
good.
Let's
go do karaoke.
I'm going to get the good stuff. Okay. So yeah, we're going to kind of just talk about like maintaining a sexy and fulfilling sex life. Right?
Yeah.
Very healthy.
Whether you're dating or married or alone.
Whatever it takes. Yeah. Whatever it takes to do that. What the aspects are of like having a sexual wellness, like relationship. And then we also want to talk about like the healthy side of sex and maybe the not so healthy if we go there, and just kind of breaking taboos and communication, all that good stuff. So that's super important to me. I love talking about this stuff, and it helps me sometimes with my own stuff too, to hear what other people do. It makes it a little bit better. So let's talk first about like maintaining a healthy sex life. Like, what does that mean to you? How would you do that?
Well, I'm single, so it's a lot of masturbation.
Very healthy.
It is what it is. But this is the thing. I think a lot of us don't realize that masturbation is supernatural. It helps with stress. It's a stress reliever.
Yes.
It's also important. It sounds strange, but it releases, this amazing, I would say, I don't want to misquote, but like this feeling. Of course, you want to feel pleasure when you're in a relationship or you're not. But I think a lot of us women that are single, we ignore ourselves. We just keep on the grind, hamster wheel every day. And we're like, wait, when was the last time I actually took care of myself, whatever that was?
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think that this has come up for me a little bit more recently, where I've had this conversation about masturbating, vibrators, all that stuff. Yeah. So do you think it can hinder your sex life using?
100%. I mean, this is the problem. I mean, let's be honest here, is that the vibrators out there today, thank the Lord, they've made them this good. But I think my average is maybe 40 seconds for the first, 60 seconds for the second. I'm wrapped up and done in 3 minutes. Like, I feel great.
See, I'm long on the first one. It takes me a long time on the first one. And then the other ones
I have some tips. Maybe we should talk about them.
Oh
Actually,
my
I mean,
God,
we
yes.
can bring this up now. I can't believe we're just diving in. Okay.
Go
So
for it.
this is what's interesting.
Mm.
I actually didn't please myself till I was in my mid-20s.
Okay, I'm with you though.
I had boyfriends from 15 on. I was very young to have sex. And I actually luckily achieved orgasm as early as I think I was 18 when I had my first one. I'll never forget. I felt like I was electrified and I was going to school and I was going to college. And I remember I was still buzzing from
Oh
the
my
night
God.
before. And I was like, what just happened to my body? Anyway, so I was pretty lucky that I did have partners that knew what they were doing
Okay.
because I was so new to it. I'd only had two partners at that time. And, I think I was more of a starfish. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Tell me what to do. But I think it's really important to learn how to please yourself. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of women, it's either that we were told not to touch ourselves or not to have sex. And, again, you have to protect that spot, which is true. You do have to protect that area. That is
Hmm.
everything. That's the source. That's the source of life. That's
Yes.
the source of, unfortunately, lots of lovely UTIs and yeast infections. That's a lot of us experience. Damn it,
Protect
you.
it from those.
Yes, it's very hard to keep her pH balance, which is such a
Hmm.
drag, which we can also go into that too. There's so much we can go into, but
Hmm.
I think it's really important how to learn how to please yourself, because I think if you don't know how if you're in a relationship, if they can't, you can at least coach them on what you need. Where if you have not pleased yourself, how are you
How do you even
expecting
know?
someone else to know what to do with your body?
Right.
So going back, my one tip is this. I don't know why this started for me, but a lot of the dildos out there are terrifying looking. They're
Hmm.
huge. They're purple. Why are they purple?
It's my
I
favorite
don't know.
color.
It's
I
like,
don't
no,
know.
okay, well, I like the hot pink ones, but the purple
Oh,
ones just look strange. I don't know, like they're bruised up or something. So
veiny and ugh,
yeah, just yeah.
not so
Normally
good.
purple things aren't healthy. Anyways,
Mm. Maybe it's the
okay,
eggplant emoji
I have a
because those
question
are
for you.
purple. Yes.
So I have a lot easier time on top.
Okay. Me too.
Have you ever masturbated on top of a vibrator? Have you ever straddled it?
No. And I'll tell you why though, because I don't use the kind that goes inside.
You don't need to go inside. You can straddle
Oh,
it like you would if you were dry humping a guy.
okay. So then, yes, I've done where I've just like put it on there while I'm having intercourse and then it can
No, just
all
put it on the
just,
bed
oh,
and
you're
hop
saying
on
by
like you're about to
yourself.
get on top.
Well,
Yep.
shit, howdy.
Most women have no idea that control of that motion of kind of leaning in and then up is one of the
Oh,
most easiest ways, because even that motion of where your body kind of leans into the vibration and flips up, like you're kind of almost dolphining. Does you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like that's not even a word. You're doing it like
Yeah.
a dolphin, like you're kind of coming in and up, and you can just play around with arching your back and dropping your legs. Maybe your legs go behind you, maybe they go up. Maybe you put your legs together. Maybe you keep them spread apart.
Mm,
Play with it and find out what works. But what most women don't
interesting.
realize is that's a lot easier to actually
Wow.
achieve orgasm than using it internally.
That's incredible. See? Oh my God, you're like our own little dildo expert, right?
Well, no, but and I think we talked about the weed vibe before,
We
which I know
did.
there's a lot of new ones out there now, like Honey Briquette has one, and it looks like
Hmm.
you. And what it is you again, if you insert the part that goes in you and the other part goes right against your lovely clit,
Hmm.
if you were to make sure then to lie on the bed face
Hmm.
down, again, make sure it's now. Sometimes you have to wear underwear to hold it because when you're
In there.
moving, it's going to bounce around a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, if you've never tried this, girls, go straddle your dolls.
Wow. Wow. And there will be a little video clip on her whole
Oh God,
description on
no.
how to do that, just so you can see the whole
But if you
dolphin
do
effect.
that first and then use it internally, it like blows your mind.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not know this.
You're going to start
My
having the 30, 60-second
I
moments.
know. I know. Yeah, because I was telling it takes me a long time in the beginning, the first one, and then it always happens really quick after, but sometimes I get, especially if I mean, I'm in California, folks, if I do an edible or something first and then I try to do it, I give up. I get so frustrated. You should see me. I'm like, fuck this. I'm done.
Oh
I can't
no,
wait
I'm
that long.
like,
So it takes
I've never
forever.
failed. I've never failed. The
Wow.
only time I notice is if I'm really stressed out or I've had a long day. Sometimes I don't feel as good. Like they're
Yeah.
like, it fell a little flat. I'm like, wow, it's just like my actors fell a little flat. And I'm kidding. Anyways, I shouldn't even associate them together. The other thing you can do before you start, I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but the woman was on Goop, Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop.
Okay. Okay. I haven't.
You lie on your back, like you're about
Uh-huh.
to sit up. So your knees are
Okay.
Like you're going to do a sit up. What would you call it? Like a triangle.
TP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feet on the ground, knees up on your back.
Okay.
Again, you flex in and then you
Okay.
out. So flex in again, and you hold your, as we talked about, pelvic floor Kegels, and then
Yes.
roll back, roll in, roll back. I guarantee if you do that 8 times, you're
Yes.
going to be turned on. You're already halfway there. That
Wow.
little roll is what all women are supposed to do to get ourselves started.
Look at these
Yeah.
little tipsters. Oh my gosh, I didn't know you were this kind of friend that had all this info for me. How have we never talked about this before to this
Oh, we only
extent?
met in like August.
Oh yeah, that's true. Good point.
We have so much to cover.
This is what
So
I
much
like to
to
do with my
cover.
new
So anyways,
friends.
that's my, like, I'm solo right now. So that's
Yeah,
my story. But if we go into obviously sexual wellness with a partner, that's a whole other
whole
situation.
different story. Do you think, okay, so this is something that I said had come up more recently. I had a big discussion about how the vibrators can destimulate you, or, take away your what's the word? Yeah, stimulation from
The
it,
problem
right?
is vibrators make it easy.
Yes.
Vibrators give you so much stimulation compared to, let's be honest, most men don't even know how to find your clit. So,
Much less vibrate, but
yeah, this is the
hmm
thing. There's so many amazing vibrators now that are made small that can sit on the man's shaft. That some of them you can
hmm
use like the We Vibe with your partner. So you're
hmm
getting that stimulation at the same time as penetration. I know we're getting a little dirty here, but
that's
this
fair.
is the reality of it. Let's talk
Yeah.
real. So I think, yes, if you are using a vibrator every day or every other day or twice a week or whatever your normal
hmm
routine is, and then some guy comes over and you're thinking, well, let's hope he knows what he's doing. If a guy knows your erogenous zones and he knows how to use his mouth, his hands, his unit, you should be getting off at least once, twice, and plus. But if they
After
don't, and
using you're
no,
saying
not
after, oh,
even,
just in
I'm
general.
saying without
Okay.
using a vibrator. The problem is a lot of men learn how to have sex from porn. As we know, it's
hmm
jackrabbit.
Totally.
Like that's not, it's never going to get a woman off.
No,
Women can say it does, it doesn't.
doesn't.
Sorry. I
Yeah.
mean, unless you got yourself close before he started or he did something to get you started,
Yeah.
sure. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
such a hard situation because, again, I think I always say this, we're the teachers, we're the ones that give them permission, we're the ones that say to treat us a certain way or put the stops up when it's not okay, whether
hmm
it's they're not picking us up for a date or they're not helping pay the bill or they're not asking, you know, consent to
Yeah.
be physical with us. We have to really start putting our foot down and deciding what's right for us. Because if we
Yeah.
even get in the bedroom with a guy and he has no idea what he's doing, but he's such a wonderful man, teach him,
Teach
educate him
him.
gently. Like, hey, I would love it if you touched me this way. Or, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, my nipples are my favorite. Or
Yeah.
lick behind my kneecaps, which most people think is not a turn on. Oh my God, if no one has ever licked behind your kneecaps,
What? I'm writing
yeah,
this one
behind
down.
kneecaps and right here, the corner of your elbow.
Oh,
Oh my God.
interesting.
I think what's wild is, let's say a man has you on your front and
hmm
he's behind you, maybe rubbing your back or kissing you, telling you if he kisses behind your kneecaps or licks back there,
It's
it's mind blowing.
wow. You know what? I think aren't those erogenous spots like
Yes.
yeah, because I use this wild yam cream. It's supposed to like help with hormones and all that stuff. I'm going into the menopause stage and I'm supposed to I know, put it in all those areas, in
Yeah.
the elbow, behind the kneecap,
Yeah.
anywhere you would put maybe your
Neck.
perfume because it
Yeah.
goes in the bloodstream. Yep, the neck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I like when they kiss the neck. That's my spot. That's the one that
And
gets
I
me.
know a
That's
lot of women will say foreplay is crap. A lot of women just think they just want to get it on. I'm sorry. You may have never had good foreplay. You don't have to
yeah.
have I don't agree with long foreplay. I don't want 40-minute foreplay,
Right.
but 5-10 minutes of amazing
Yeah.
foreplay, bring it.
Yes. But for me, that can even be so much as just your hands, you're touching your fingers. That stuff is all so sensual to me. That can get me
It's
so
everything.
worked
Yeah.
up, which I love. But I was thinking that, yeah, during that conversation, oh, because I'm doing a new experiment. Well, because I've used my vibrator for 15, 20 years, whatever. Okay. So I've used it for forever. The same one I always use is Brookstone back massage. You can see it on Sex in the
Oh
City.
my God. I know
I
which
know.
one you're using.
I
Okay.
know,
Okay.
because I don't like the ones that go inside. I don't like that. And I don't like the little gravity thing that does that little facet.
That's a
That's
lot
too much.
going on. The sucking ones
It's
now.
too
I mean, some
much.
people love them, but
Yeah.
a
But
lot
I'll
going
take
on.
that back massager though, and I kick that shit up into high gear. It's like at the highest thing and it's right on it. So I know I'm like burning it off is what I'm doing. It's as
What
though
Samantha
somebody's just
says, this one will
scratching at
burn
my
your
hip.
clit off.
Yeah, that's pretty much what's happening with it. So I have like, and more recently, like I said, if I take an edible or something, it takes me forever and I give up and I get frustrated. So that's happened a few times. So I haven't used it in a little while. And I'm doing this new experiment where I'm not going to use it for a little bit and see if the next time, like how that plays out the next time I have sex with somebody. Like
So if
what,
Andrea's at the
yeah.
grocery store and has a fit at someone who bagged her groceries wrong, we know it's because she hasn't gotten
It's
off in
because
the
I
last month.
haven't gotten off. Or if I grab the grocery bagger.
Be like, take
Get them
me
on
in the
ground,
back.
take me now. Oh, Mr. Ralph, take me now.
Mr. Ralph. I'd have to say that the beggars tend to be like 18 and under, so be careful there. We don't
I
want you in
know.
shackles.
I can't promise anything at this point, but I'm
Don't
going to
marry
try this
Paternos.
little. Yeah, I'm going to try this little experiment and see. That's kind of fun for me. See how this pans out.
But you could also go digital. Digital
Yeah.
being your digits, your hand. Like digital
Oh,
sounds brutal.
no, see, that doesn't work for me.
Well, no, it takes forever. That's why
Yeah.
I don't have time to
I
do
don't
that.
have
If I don't have time to
patience
cook
for that.
myself dinner, I'm not going to masturbate with my hand for an hour.
Yeah. So I
Pull
choose
out the
not to do
vibrator,
anything.
straddle it. Straddle it for 60 seconds. You'll be good.
So, okay. So how do you feel about those like sex toys, vibrators, all that stuff within a, maybe the different stages? Okay. So obviously we know you like it by yourself. What about with a new partner, an older partner, a marriage, like the different phases? What do you think?
But as we know, it's all per person. Like
It
someone,
is.
again, you might find the most amazing date, which turns into your partner who knows exactly how to please you. And it's
Yeah.
easy. And maybe down the line, you want to spice things up. But maybe for the first year, why bother if you're
You don't need to.
getting all that amazing feeling from just you two being together? I always feel
Mhm.
like if you have an amazing sex partner or a relationship going, it should feel like out of body experience. It
Mhm.
shouldn't feel like you're even with someone. It should feel
Yeah.
so amazing that you're lost. And I'm not talking about drugs or alcohol involved. I'm
Yeah.
just talking about if you
Yeah.
were truly connected with another soul and you would get out of your head and only in your body. That's my
Mhm.
favorite feeling. So I've had relationships where we haven't introduced anything. And then I've had
Yeah.
relationships
'Cause
that
you
we've
don't
had
need
to
to.
introduce within a week because unfortunately he hasn't experienced taking care of me in a way I need. So he goes off to the bathroom and like I need to, I'm not going to lay there and be frustrated. So
Right.
yeah, I've had
Right.
to take out the toys in secret when they're quickly going to the bathroom after. I'm like, oh my God, I've got 30, 40 seconds.
You
I can do
can
this.
go quick. Oh my
Oh
God.
yeah. But I think
Oh,
in a marriage, I was lucky in my marriage. We had an incredible sex life. We didn't have a
yeah.
great relationship in the end, but
Yeah.
wow, our sex life was off the charts. Even after
Oh.
having a baby, we were back in the saddle within 3 weeks, which I know you're not supposed to do. So then of course
Mm.
we waited 6 weeks, but we had sex probably at least 4 times a week, 5 times a week for 7, 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah. We never, even when we fought, we still, because the sex was so good, it always
Yeah.
brought us back.
Yeah. That was your
Um,
bond. Yeah.
yeah, he was very French and very passionate. So he knew what he was doing.
The
But I've had
Frenchman.
so many relationships where I have no idea what the previous women have done with these men, especially older men
Mhm.
that have,
Mhm.
let's bring it up,
Mhm.
erectile
Erectile
dysfunction.
dysfunction.
I've
Yeah.
had a few in
Yeah.
the last few years that
Definitely
I've
had
had
one.
3 or 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I've only had one and he was an older guy. So that made it a little bit more difficult, but we worked it out.
How did you work it out?
Well, actually, he went to the doctor and then and maybe that's what we just thought it was. Maybe it wasn't as bad as we thought. He went to the doctor and then he came back and he was like, the doctor said, when you really like a woman, this can happen. He was so stressed out about it. I felt terrible for him. And then we just kind of waited till we went out of town somewhere and we tried again. But he wasn't the person for me anyways. So
Okay, I love what Andrew just said, and I want everyone to hear it. There are men out there that are known as players, but then when
Mhm.
they meet a woman that really stops them in their tracks, it doesn't work. The little
Mhm.
man just will not stand to attention. And it's
Yep.
very common. And I'll tell you how I fixed that.
Tell.
So, the whole idea about when a man can't get it up, if it's not medical, if it's not a medical reason, like they're on certain drugs that unfortunately create issues, especially things for hair loss. A lot of hair
Mm-hmm.
loss medications, unfortunately, also the
Oh.
little man doesn't work either. Yes. And of course, so if
Oh.
you're dating a man in like late 40s, 50s, 60s, they're quite often on hair loss medication.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the big thing is to take all the pressure off and say, look, we don't have to have sex. Why don't we just go lay in bed, put on a movie, lay in
Mm-hmm.
bed and just lay together, hold hands, cuddle. Intimacy isn't about fucking. Everybody's made it about
Yes.
sex. It's not. And what's
No.
amazing is we would do this. We would just call it naked movie night, and we would lay in
Mm.
bed and just lay naked together. And eventually the hands start moving and then the kissing starts. And it's amazing how all of a sudden the body will be like, I'm in a safe space. I'm not being judged on
Mm-hmm.
my inadequacy.
Yep.
And next thing you know, little man starts making an appearance, but you got to go slow
Amazing. That's
and
a
you
great
can't say
tip.
anything negative. If you start saying to your man or whomever you're with, well, I guess it would only be a man. Well, I
The
was going to say
strap-on's
husband,
always gonna work.
boyfriend,
Oh.
boy toy. I meant more that way.
Yeah.
If you can just say, oh, I think you're so hot, I think you're beautiful, and just give them compliments, but never ever be negative about
Yeah.
the unit. If you start
Right.
saying, well, you failed me, your fucker or your pecker doesn't work, whatever you say, your little prick
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work, whatever you want to say, that you're done.
Yeah. I would
You
never
spread
use
your
it as a
sex life.
weapon. It's just, yeah, not good in
So
any
many
which way.
people get offended because women also take it that they're being rejected.
Yeah.
If it doesn't
I've
work
been
for
there
them,
where I felt
right?
that. I felt that before
Yeah.
because a lot of time, especially if you know that they've been, that they've had a pretty healthy sex life or something, and now all of a sudden they don't, or you have maybe for a couple times and then they don't. I remember, you're kind of in that feeling like, oh, he's not attracted to me anymore, especially if you're not feeling great about yourself.
Yeah,
And that
it's a hard
definitely
one. And I think
happens.
what's even harder is when the man decides he thinks it's going to work and
Yeah.
really forces the physical intimacy, and then
Yeah.
it doesn't work. And then they go dark, they go quiet on you, they get moody, they get angry. And then
Yeah.
the whole day's blown or night's blown.
Yeah.
It's such a shame. We're all so sensitive. We all just want to feel
Mm-hmm.
loved. We want to
Mm-hmm.
have pleasure. And
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, a lot of us only think that this is the best way to connect is sex.
I know. And I feel bad for guys with that sense. I mean, us women, we have gotten the shaft, no pun intended, on a lot of a lot of things in life, right? Yeah.
I could
The
use a
monster
shaft.
shaft. You know, drink your tequila, girl. So we'll get like, we get our period, we get menopause, we get,
Dry.
dry, we get UTIs, we have babies, we have all of these things that we get, but I do feel sorry for the man. And I think about that often. First of all, what it's like to have a package just in the front of you all the time like that. That just seems horrible. I'm sure they don't feel it
They
anymore.
love it. They're like,
They
look at
love it. Look at what I got. But that would drive me nuts, I would think, number one. Again, no pun intended. But and then
oh my
also,
God.
I know I'm fun
You're on a
girl today.
roll. You're so punny.
It's
Ah,
so funny.
no, punny. Pun.
Punny,
Punny.
punny. Nuts and shafts for everyone.
Sounds like Christmas to me. Is it Christmas again?
Christmas and nuts and
It's
shafts.
reminding that skit from Saturday Night Live, the sweaty balls,
Oh,
sweaty
I didn't
balls.
see
Remember
that
with Alec
one.
Baldwin?
Oh
Oh, your
my
balls are
gosh.
so shiny. Oh, they're so soft in my mouth. It's about dessert. But
It's about
anyways,
dessert. I
look
haven't
up
had one.
sweaty balls on SNL with
I
Alec
should look
Baldwin.
that up. Sometimes they catch me off guard. I remember this is years ago. It was one guy that I was working with and his coworker, and they were talking about a house, and she just came in and out of nowhere. She was like, "I got that brown caulk you asked for," and but it's caulk,
Oh,
Caulk.
caulking. Like
Caulking.
bathroom caulking?
Yes, and the two of them went back
And
and
I'm just
forth
gonna go
talking
get
about
some
this
caulk.
brown caulk for like 10 minutes, and I'm thinking, am I being punked here? Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Are you being
Yeah.
specific? You want brown cock
You
tonight,
want
honey? I don't know. Maybe you need
brown cock.
some black cock.
Black cock
Wow.
down.
Oh
Oh,
my
it's
God. Keep
funny.
drinking your vodka. It's good.
Okay. Yeah.
Good.
We've got off on tangent here.
No, we were on to men that can't get it up. And listen,
Oh
we are
yeah,
so
yeah. I was
sorry
just
if
saying I feel bad for them.
your man is having this problem, because it is
Yeah,
a
it's rough.
very sensitive problem that links to so many insecurities. It can
Yeah.
be that they're having a struggle in their job. It can be that they're having a struggle in their personal life. And unfortunately, that little man Unless he's feeling
Yeah.
confident, he stays to rest, which is a shame.
Yeah, and they just have to be in that right frame of mind like all the time, you know? And I mean, we can relate to, we can, you know, what we get wet or not based on where our mindset is. If I'm thinking about I got to do the dishes and I got to do all this stuff, that's probably not happening. But you know,
The dishes stop
it's
you from having
easier.
sex?
I don't know. I've never really thought of the dishes.
Like, wouldn't you just bend over and keep doing the dishes? I know you. Come on, just lift the apron.
I mean,
No.
I probably wouldn't.
I
I
mean,
think I have
a
that all
UTI or
figured
a
out.
yeast infection, yes, that should stop you from
That
having
should
sex. And
stop
oh,
you.
by the way, if you are not familiar, if you do have a yeast infection, which is a horrible feeling, please not have sex with your partner. Guess what you're doing? You're passing it between the two of you, back and forth like a ping pong ball. So it's never going
Yeah,
to
it's
stop.
not attractive. Never gonna
No, it's
stop.
not.
It's the
You're
gift that
just going
just
to be
keeps on
yeasty
giving.
feasties laying in bed.
Oh my gosh, that's hysterical. But
It's
yeah,
true.
it's true. It's true. So yeah, I think there's a lot of things you can keep. Oh, did we talk about kind of in marriage? Do you think that have you had like a guy, you know, not necessarily when you were married, even just when you were dating that was didn't want you using a vibrator that was bothered by it?
Yes, and they're control freaks.
Oh,
I find if a
because
man
they want to
doesn't
do
want you
that.
using a vibrator, it's because either he's insecure,
Mm-hmm.
he's a control freak, or a
Mm-hmm.
narcissist. So
Hmm.
he's probably not a really good guy. Because now listen again, if he is doing his job and you are enjoying wonderful orgasms on a weekly basis, let's say,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say daily, most of us don't have time for
Yeah.
daily sex, but weekly basis, then
Hmm.
honestly, wait till you go plays tennis or goes to a meeting and then, you know, it doesn't have to
Yeah.
be in front of him.
In
I,
front of
I think
them.
if he is doing that good of a job, we should celebrate the men that actually know what they're doing.
Absolutely. No, I think that's a great idea. And you should let them know, right? When they do a good job. You should be like,
Yes, I
hell
think they'd
yeah.
like the wave. Big cheers. Big woo, standing ovation.
The big
Oh, your penis and tongue are amazing.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
that's
good.
great.
That's the tequila.
Okay, so what about for those that are maybe not quite at that level yet, where they're ready to use the vibrators, they want to still have a very healthy sex life, maybe within themselves? That's, I guess, where you would say your fingers, just it's going to take a little extra time.
You're
Your
saying as
fingers.
alone or as a couple?
Yeah, well, either way, if they're alone and they're not, you know, they're not comfortable using a vibrator, some just aren't into that for whatever reason. So
Yeah.
I guess they can find their own pleasure a different way. But what do you think is like a good, healthy way, you know, without using extra toys and stuff like that? Just the intimacy, the
Well, that's the
quietness
thing.
of it.
Again, like most, I have to say, I think there's studies out there that I think 70% of women don't orgasm.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of women are out there not actually knowing what we're talking about. And like I
Hmm.
said, I mean, I've had relationships where there weren't a lot of happy moments, as we call
Yeah.
it. Achieving the O. Uh,
Yeah.
so, you know, if you're in one of those relationships where you have never experienced an
Yeah.
orgasm, again, take some time by yourself. I always say the
Yeah.
bathtub's a really good place to be quiet
Yeah.
if you're
You
in a
get up under that
relationship.
faucet. Hmm.
No, actually, it's more like it sounds crazy, but take a washcloth, the
Uh-huh.
friction of the little bit of the washcloth, the warm water, really gently, just touch yourself, see if it feels good. If you start to feel something, keep going. If you don't, well,
I would
unfortunately,
also,
a lot of us women have shut down there. It's almost
yeah,
like we've decided that it's just not happening.
yeah. I would also say you could use the, you know, the shower when it
Shower
comes
head.
off the shower head thing, and
Yeah.
you can change the faucet type to be, uh,
Yeah.
what is that?
I don't have enough water
Stronger.
pressure. Mine's a stream. It would do nothing. It's like a
She's like,
lame
I
dude.
can't feel
Well,
this, damn it.
I can't feel nothing.
It's not giving me anything.
Well, I also pierced my hood when I was like 28.
What?
Yeah, it's gone now. Oops, didn't let it
Oh
heal.
my
Oops, tore it.
gosh. What would make you want to do that? Where'd that thought process come from? When you were
I
28?
split.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, so I split with well, I guess I was 29. I split with my husband at 28. I
Mhm.
did my belly button, got my belly button
Okay.
pierced. And then the guy I was seeing wanted to get his unit done. It's called the frenum. They call it the
Okay.
speed bump. It's like right underneath. If he was hard
Oh,
and you
yeah.
were facing him, it's right underneath the head, that
Okay.
piece of
Okay.
skin.
Yeah.
But they
Which
call it
is a
the
very
speed bump.
sensitive
I have
part,
to
by the
tell
way.
you, but awful. It felt awful. But
What do
I
you mean?
did
Wait,
do
wait,
my
wait. What do you mean? What felt awful? I missed that. I was probably talking over you. What do
the
you mean?
piercing on the cock.
Oh, that's where he got
He
it.
got his on the frenum, which
So
is
it
the
felt terrible for
skin.
you.
It felt so odd. Like it
Okay.
just felt like there was an appendage to his penis that was lumpy and it kind of kept hitting the wrong spots. But I had my hood pierced. And when you get your hood pierced, please don't do it. It's very painful. But
Oh.
they put a ball bearing. So the ball
Oh.
sits right against your clitoris. So even if a man
Wow.
just lies on you,
You're gonna feel.
boom. So
Wow.
yeah, for the lazy men out there, to your partners, you may want to get a hood piercing.
Oh my God. We're not recommending this.
We're not recommending it. You have to
God.
sit there with your legs spread with some strange guy that has a beard and tats everywhere. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm
And he's
like, where'd they
staring
get
right up
that
your
done?
hoo-ha. I don't know.
I
Whew.
cannot believe you did that.
Yeah,
Shocking.
I've had an interesting life.
And you just let it grow in, just like sealed
No,
up.
I was slithering around my chair and my assistant's like, what is your problem? I'm like, oh, I got this piercing and it's driving me crazy. And she's like, will you take that goddamn thing out? Because what had happened was I tore it.
Oh.
I had sex too soon. Yes. So,
Oh.
oops. And it tore. I'll never forget that moment. That was a really fun moment. And
Oh.
it didn't want to heal. Instead, it started to actually, the body will try to remove a piercing. Have you heard of this? Even on your nipples, anywhere, your belly button. If it's not settling, it
Mm-hmm.
actually, the body pushes it. So the skin will start pushing it towards to release.
Interesting.
So let's just say
Interesting.
I don't have a piercing down there anymore.
Wow.
But Andrea, like, how
Yeah.
about you? Like for you,
Yeah.
have you used toys in your long-term
Mm-hmm.
relationships?
Mm-hmm. I have, and I thoroughly enjoy them. I like
The man can just lay there and watch
you can
television.
just watch. I actually like to bring them into it and enjoy it with me and be doing stuff to me while I'm getting that. And I think that's always been it's been effective. It's been a good turn on for the majority of the men that I've done that with. I think that they enjoy experiencing that together. I think that can be a really healthy, fun thing to do, especially if it's somebody you trust. I would never do it with somebody that was like that I hadn't been with for a certain period of time. I would do it
Yeah,
with
well,
somebody
also a
that I'm
lot
more
of they
comfortable
actually
with.
like the vibration between their legs. They don't
Yeah.
think they're gonna freak out and they feel like, oh wait, that's kind of
Oh,
oh nice.
yeah.
You watch their
Yeah.
reactions.
Because they don't know
Yeah.
that that's coming. No pun intended. That's going to be the title of this episode.
Oh
No
my
pun
God. Beavers and no
no
pun
pun
intended.
intended. So yeah, I do like to incorporate them into it. And I think that's super fun. And they, for some reason, like to watch when you're enjoying that and doing that. And I found that it helps. It takes some pressure off of them. They don't have to be like doing all the work all the time. And I really enjoy how it feels because it's a different feeling than normal sex
Yeah.
orgasm.
Hey, listen,
So yeah,
I brought them in. Just a lot of
yeah.
the men I've dated don't want them. So
Oh,
I tend to have to keep it separate. The more,
yeah.
I would say the more interesting men allow
Mm-hmm.
me to bring them in, but they're also the same ones that have, shackles under their bed. So I have like my hands are pinned on every angle of my legs. And
Yeah, but I think it, like you said, it takes time too, and you're building that trust. And then I think after a while, if you want to bring something new and exciting into it, I think that's when it's a great time to do it. I probably wouldn't do it like the first night and be like, you know what I got, because that,
like a
yeah,
guy asking about anal within the first few weeks. It's like,
exactly,
excuse me? And I think
exactly.
we need to address the fact that if you are a woman coming out of a long-term marriage and you
Mm-hmm.
haven't dated in a long time, you've had one partner for the last 15, 20 years, take your time.
Mm-hmm.
Like make sure this stuff feels good to you. Don't allow someone to push the boundaries unless you feel comfortable and safe. Again, we always go back to that word, safe.
Yep,
If
yep.
you feel safe, everything's good. If you don't, it could be a traumatic experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think some of that really goes into what we were also going to talk about communication within intimacy and
Yes.
how that works and how from so many different angles, whether it can be bad communication, good communication, or whatever, people like to do their fight and then they have the makeup sex and all that good stuff. I think that you know, it's huge to have the communication and that can be a totally scary thing too. So that might be a different podcast because we're going to go I think we could go for a really long time on talking about the communication and everything.
Agreed.
So for right now, I just want to stick to this, but I was also going to say, you know, like what other fun toy stuff out there is there? You know, I mean, I think beads are fun. I don't, not anal beads. I'm not talking about anal beads. I just think that beads are fun to kind of put up your hoo-ha and you pull them out when you're going to orgasm. Lots of fun. That's
See, I
exciting.
haven't used them there.
Yeah, try it. I think you might
I've
like
used. Oh God, do we go there?
it.
I think I do want to bring this up. I was going to hold back
Oh,
the back
here we
door.
go. I was
Every
just gonna say
man is
that.
just obsessed with the back
Yes.
door. But I think when
Yes.
you're a strong woman like me, and I run a company, I don't need them financially. I mean, I'd love them financially. I'm just saying I don't
But,
need them financially. I
yeah.
feel like they're like, I want a dominator. I
Yeah.
need to have that. It's like, I don't
They
know
need control of
why. You almost feel
something.
like they're gonna
Yeah.
hold the blue ribbon and go dun 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 dun. Where it's
I
like,
got in the ass. I got in the
yeah,
ass.
this is my thing for everyone listening. Don't give up the ass. Hold on as long as you can. I feel like it should be something that if you're in a long-term relationship or you're in a really wonderful, loving relationship, that should be
Mhm.
something that's brought
Mhm.
in. Andrea's
Mhm.
smiling like she has not guarded her butthole. And I'm looking
Oh,
at
I
her.
guard it. No, like
Okay,
it's Fort
good.
Knox down
I know.
there. Nobody's
Okay.
getting in.
No one ever?
Well, yeah, but like I'm not a
It was an
fan.
oops?
It
Was it
needs
a
to
slip?
be no. I always
Right.
love that when you're like wrong
Whoop.
hole. Move on, soldier.
That's always when your legs
But
are behind your ears and they're
yeah,
going too fast, and all of a sudden they're like,
it's
Jesus Christ, you just split apart my insides. But yeah, no.
yeah, I'm just not a fan of it. But I think yeah, in like a hot tub or like I mean a private one, not like anybody's
Not a
public
hot tub,
one.
girl. You
Oh
need
my
your lube there. A
gosh.
hot tub's gonna dry you out with chemicals and
No,
bromine. Jesus
if I've
Christ.
had some good drinks, it could happen. I just don't like it. I just is not a big, I'm
No,
not a big
I'm just
fan.
worried about the bromine up there. Okay, so use a natural salt hot tub. So this is
uh,
the thing. I had a boyfriend that was very into it. I wasn't,
mhm.
and it was a hard thing for me. And I'm being very honest here with the listeners because I want people
Yeah.
to understand that this does happen and it happens a lot. There
Mhm.
are men that have a fetish with this. There are men that
Mhm.
want this. There are men that prefer this. Please make sure if this is not something you ever want to do, or you only want to do with a loving partner, or you just have decided it's just not something that's on your, menu, let's call it. Don't.
Don't do
Again, we
it.
are teaching them. We are
Yeah.
teaching them what's okay. I was very young when I was dating this person that
Mhm.
was, pushing the envelope. You
Mhm.
want to call it that?
Yeah.
And to this day, I think I'm very guarded about it because again, it's not a natural feeling.
No.
It's a strange
Very
feeling.
personal.
Things can
And
adjust down there
yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I feel that sex can be so beautiful when you're in a loving relationship and you're
Yeah.
safe. Now, I
Yeah.
know a lot of you girls are like, oh, I'd love to go get it on and go down on some guy and take it this way, that way, and do the Eiffel Tower. And hey, you know what? Congratulations, good for you. But I'd like you to also get some therapy because probably
Yeah.
somewhere deep, dark in there is you felt that you need to do all this to be loved
Mhm.
or to be liked. So
Mhm.
know that sex is so personal
Yeah.
and it's about what you're comfortable with. And I'm sure there's so many women out there like me that have been, I don't want to say the word, so I'm going to spell it RAPED.
Mm.
And it does set you back and it does
Mhm.
make you question dating and partners and who you can feel safe with. And I think sex is only good when you do feel safe and you have
Yeah.
someone who makes you feel amazing.
Absolutely. That's a really big thing. And
That's
like you
my 2
said,
cents.
you are not obligated to do anything. It is just as much a violation in the front as it is in the back, if anything like that. So I
Yeah.
totally agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Just going along on a little bit further from that, I think that also well, some men actually, I think, enjoy it. I've not tried this. I've not done stuff to men, but I've heard
Yes.
that if men only knew that there can be another, if something to do with their prostate and it can be massaged or rubbed, that can be an entirely new orgasm for them.
It
Is
is.
it? Have you heard
I
that?
have never done it. A
Yeah.
lot of my friends have. They say,
Yeah.
oh, Michelle, it's no big deal. Just stick a finger. I'm like, like, I just think I see how lame they are of washing their underwear. The last thing I want to do is stick my manicured nails up there, especially when they're spiked. But have you with the, come on.
We're really going there.
Hey, I've talked about some very personal
you
things.
Sure
I
have.
say
You sure
we're
have.
in it.
I'm just letting you run with it. You know,
Hey, girl,
like,
you want to talk
just
about this
all
stuff.
the talking. No,
Just
no,
drink
it's
more
fine.
vodka and
It's
then say it.
helpful. Yeah. Oh yeah. Here, let me take a good swig here before you. Yeah. I've done that. I don't mind doing that. I think it's something, it turns me on a little bit.
Do you not spike them? Like my nails
No,
are
mine
long.
aren't really spiky. No, mine are like
Do you lube it up or you just boop?
Yeah, I might just like get it
Lick
wet.
it?
Yeah, I'd lick it before I do that or something.
Okay, now I have a bigger question. Have you ever rimmed a guy?
Have I what?
Rimmed a guy.
Rammed. Oh, is that like the oh what?
Come on, bring it.
If you haven't seen her. I'm dying.
If you could see Andrea's face right now, she wants to run. I have not
usually hang in this conversation. I've just never been pushed this. Oh my God.
Welcome to the place of discomfort. The asshole.
Yeah. We are there, folks.
What is the line from that movie, Forgetting Sarah Marshall? Who would ever put a playground next to a sewage plant? Sorry. I watched it the other night and I started laughing so hard. It was the virgins that got married and the guy just couldn't figure out how to please his woman. And so of course, what's his brand? What's Russell Brand? Like shows him on the beach, like how to please his woman.
That's funny. I haven't seen that. I have to go watch that.
Well, there you go, folks.
I can see that. So there we go. Let's wrap that one up with a nice, pretty bow.
Well, I think it's time to wrap it up, kids.
The healthy sex life. We went total opposite. We have to change that up. No, I think it's all healthy if you do it in the right way with somebody you trust, somebody you're comfortable with, and that's not going to be videotaping you over in the corner. That's not going to be, selling your stuff somewhere. I think it's very good. I think it's good and healthy.
Just feel safe. You feel safe. Great.
Yeah, go for it. Do it all. Yeah. Well, I think that's awesome. Thank you for joining me on this conversation and this stroll down ass lane.
And beaver pleasure.
And beaver pleasure and ass lane. I know. Where did we go today? Very enjoyable. I'll have to mark this one as a little explicit, of course, but
this was tame. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you're enjoying it. We're just we're being ourselves and just talking.
We're shooting the shit.
We're shooting the shit and we're saying things that people won't say. And you know what? A lot of people want to know it. So there's that. So thank you guys for joining us once again. This is Andrea with From Mrs. to Ms. and my wonderful friend Michelle that joined me. So thank you for being honest and just bringing what you bring every time with me. I love it.
As long as no one fires me from this verbiage, I'm okay.
They gotta go through me first. So you guys, thank you so much once again. And you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok anywhere From Mrs. to Ms. And we look forward to talking to you again soon. Have a great week, guys. Bye.